Hey guys, it's me Seren, back with another car video. So it's been highly requested for me to do a video on this fucking Pusha T and Drake beef. I haven't really been following it because number one, you guys know me, I haven't found it to be that interesting. Pusha T could wrap circles around Drake. Drake has a team of fucking ghostwriters that do all the work for him. So how do you call yourself getting in beefs when you don't even write shit? Like any beef that Drake gets in, I'm automatically on the other person's side. It really doesn't matter who it is, because I just feel, unless he's in a beef with another fraud, like if he got in a beef with Cardi B or something, it would be like, who has the best ghostwriters? Like, who has the best team of ghostwriters? Something, but like that would be somebody on his level. If it's Drake versus like somebody that actually fucking has a pen and writes for themselves, it's whatever. Like, I'm automatically gonna give it to the other person. And plus, I like Pusha T and I like Clips. So I was just like, whatever. And also, like, when the whole Meek Mill and Drake shit happened, I kind of felt like, okay, Drake stans are wild. Like, they don't care about nothing. Like, I feel like I've said before that I feel like Drake in my opinion, I feel like Drake opened the floodgates, like, for a fucking Cardi B. I feel like Drake opened the floodgates for Bruno Mars. I feel like Drake opened the floodgates for, like, these black adjacent, just black enough, I possibly have a black parent, maybe I do have a black parent, so it's fine, like, I feel like they tested the waters out with Drake, and people, like, really embraced the fuck out of Drake, and I just, like, really, and then, like, Drake got his card pulled by Meek Mill as a fraud that doesn't write shit, and other shit, like him getting pissed on at a movie theater and all types of other shit. And like the mental fucking gymnastics and like contortions that I saw fucking people and like Drake fans and like stans like working themselves into, as to why, like, it's fine that he doesn't write for himself, it's fine that he has ghostwriters, it's fine that he has reference tracks, it's fine that he fucking signs people to his label and like literally like puts them to work in the fucking concentration camps writing for him. Like, that is fine to be a fraud. Like, Drake really made it cool to be a fraud, and now you have all these frauds running around, and I really think that, like, I blame Drake. Like, I really think it's fucking Drake's fault, like, personally. And people didn't care. Like, people really didn't care. I thought there was a classism aspect of the Drake Meek Mill beef also. I thought there was a colorism aspect. People was acting like, they couldn't understand what Meek was saying and he wasn't speaking English. It was a whole lot of, like, the gully nigga from the streets from Philly versus, the relatable light-skinned nigga that everybody likes, including all the corporations. You had all these and I also think that the Drake Meek Mill beef was a turning point in all these outsiders thinking that they have a say in black culture, because you had fucking corporations and Apple and Denny's and Burger King and McDonald's weighing in on it, and official company Twitter accounts tweeting about it, what's beef, and talking about some Drake won. I'm like, I don't need fucking Denny's to fucking tell me that Drake won a rap beef. Just like all these people getting in our fucking business. Getting up in our business. And like I already said, I feel like Drake just really opened the door for that. Like, Drake is a fraud. His fans are fucking frauds. White people. Losers. Hey, somebody listening to Flashing Lights by Kanye. Drake is a fraud and his fans are frauds, losers, white people, and women that don't really listen to rap, but they like Drake. Just like white people that don't listen to rap, but they like Eminem. Just like all these people that hate black people and they're racist as fuck, but they love Bruno Mars. I already knew, I was like, people gonna come up with like all these fucking bullshit ass reasons, just like they always do, because like y'all have decided y'all don't give a fuck that Drake is a fraud. Y'all don't give a fuck about anything this man says or does. I didn't think that this beef was interesting until this Blackface shit got involved. Now, once this Blackface shit got involved, this shit got like 5 million bajillion times more interesting. So Pusha T made the cover of his diss record what looked to be a picture of Drake in blackface, and people were like, is this real? Like, is this Photoshop? Did you like hire a lookalike? And Pusha T was like, no, I'm not one of these little internet babies. Like, I'm not out here fucking photoshopping people, like photoshopping shit. Like, this is a real picture of Drake. And he like posted like the source information for it, that it's some white guy photographer, David Lee, I don't know how you pronounce this man's last name, but white guy, white photographer, that like the pictures were formerly up on his website. They have been removed. I will have tons of like links and like source information in the description box. The pictures were up on his website. They have since been removed. It has since came out that the pictures, I believe, were taken in 2008, so they're like roughly 10 years old, and they're pictures of Drake in blackface, like with a like in blackface like with a big old like shit-eating Sambo ass grin. Like, so it also turns out that the pictures were part of an advertisement for a clothing line that was called Two Black Guys, TOO, Two Black Guys, which is and was then also a black-owned clothing line based out of Canada. And the whole mission statement of the line, and apparently, allegedly also, like, what was the mindset behind this like shoot was, you know, the black experience, kind of like we want to put a stark, kind of like This Is America by Donald Glover. We're gonna like do this like fucking art school dropout ass, like stark, amateur, shocking, in your face, you know. Yeah, it's gonna be so edgy. We're gonna like dress him up in blackface. The fucking people was like all in the white guy photographer's Instagram comments, and he like responded to somebody talking about something that it was like Drake's idea to do like the blackface aspect of it. You know, and he also had, and the clothing line also utilized it, what they called Crow Couture, which was the fucking birds from Dumbo, the fucking crows, which were racist caricatures, which Disney is fucking infamous for in their old cartoons, like lazy and shucking and jiving, and they don't want to do shit all day. Like, those crows were like also on the clothes, and like Drake also has like the Jim Crow shirt on with the fucking crows, and it was just a lot. And obviously, like this whatever like the statement was supposed to be, again, this kind of like Jim Crow Couture, like they just said, we're gonna like do blackface and we're gonna like put Jim Crow on these shirts, and it's gonna be like really, really shocking. I read a comment online, great comment, that was like, you know, I really don't care what the intent behind it was. I really don't even care that like this is a black owned clothing line. It was like, number one, I feel some type of way that this is not even an American brand. Like, Drake is not American, like he's Canadian. I really don't care that this like line is black owned, but it's made by like two Canadians that are like removed from the, wow, slingshot. Somebody just pulled up to next to me in this like Batmobile ass fucking whip. Anyways, I'm gonna take a picture, hold on. Yeah, I took the picture, so now I'm back. But yeah, so somebody was like, you know, I really don't care like what the intent was behind it, or even that it was like that the brand is like quote unquote black owned. Number one, I feel like it's crass and tasteless to try and fucking mock and caricature and commodify Jim Crow era, you know, stereotypes and these fucking Disney birds and just, you know, that whole era in general, like, you know, and call it Jim Crow Couture. Like, I feel like that's inappropriate. And then, like, to just add, it adds insult to injury when you take into account that even though these people are black, they're not American, so they're removed even from the experience, which I thought was a great comment. I totally agree with. Other people try to bring up, like, when Kanye did, like, the Confederate flag, he was putting, like, Confederate flags on merchandise. And when Nas had the album called Nigger, and he was, like, posing on red carpets with, like, shirts that said, like, nigger and shit like that, which I also thought was fucking crass and tasteless. Like, people also got into, like, Kanye's ass about that fucking Confederate flag shit. People were like, that's not cool. Like, people also got into, like, Nas's ass. Like, we get it. Like, okay, we're not stupid. Like I said, like, we get what, like, the intent or the message is supposed to be. However, like, people do still have, like, the right to be like, no, this shit is dumb. Like, it's just, what is it really saying? It's just explicit just for the sake of being explicit. Like, there's nothing behind it except really the shock value of it, which is also how I feel about, you know, these pictures. And again, I also agree that them being Canadian is fucking weird instead of American. I've been talking with a friend of mine about, like, culture and, like, black American culture specifically, which you guys know I've talked about a lot, and just this concept of, like, is that shit even appropriate? Like, you're not even fucking American. Like, is that shit even fucking appropriate? Like, I don't know. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. And I personally feel like Drake is a culture vulture. Like, I think Drake is a cultural appropriator. Like, despite the fact that, you know, he's black, has a black dad, what have you. Number one, like, Drake is a wave rider. He's a biter. Like, he jumps from trend to trend. He jumps from artist to artist, biting people's style or signing them straight up to his label, shelving them, forcing them to write for him. Or just, like, riding waves, biting people, stealing people's whole careers. Like, he's a leech. Like, he literally, like, latches onto shit. He, like, sucks it dry. And then he, like, moves on to the next thing, which is a huge part of why he's been able to stay on top for so long is like, literally because, like, similar, again, to, like, a Bruno Mars. Like, Drake don't have no signature as a fucking artist. Like, except that he makes like emo fucking music, I guess, where he talks about his feelings. But even then, like, we know that Drake doesn't write none of that shit. So, like, I do think that Drake is, like, a culture vulture. I think he's a wave rider. Like, yet again, like, Drake, like, really tested the waters of, like, how far can we push it with a non-white person. Because just like I've said before, we all know it's certain things that, like, we just are not going to accept from white artists these days because we, like, know for a fact that it's inappropriate. But then when you have an artist like a Drake, like a Bruno Mars, like a Cardi B, like, now all of a sudden the line gets blurry as to, like, is this shit cool or is it not fucking cool? And I think a lot of what Drake does is just straight up not cool. Like, the biting is not cool. The wave writing is not cool. If you don't fucking have a pen, you don't write shit. That shit's not cool. And I even feel like this blackface thing is, like, very indicative of who Drake is as a person and who he's been his whole entire career, which is trying to fucking commodify some shit and commercialize it and make money off of it and really not give a fuck. Like, but people gonna explain that shit away just like they explain everything away with fucking Drake. And I think it's fucking disgusting. Like, I really think it's disgusting. Like, I think those pictures are disgusting. I really don't care. Like, people acting like, oh, that shit was fine 10 years ago. Like, blackface wasn't fine 10 years ago. Like, I'm sorry, blackface was not fine 10 years ago. And even, like, the fact that, like, they said, like, oh, it's Jim Crow Couture, like, this is the meaning behind it. Like, they knew exactly what they were doing. And I just don't think it's cool. Like, I don't think it's appropriate. And I actually think it's disgusting. And I just really think that Drake is an actor. I think that Drake is an actor. I really don't think that Drake, like, I just think Drake's an actor. I think he's a fraud. Like, he's a fraud. He's been playing the role of a rapper all these years. I might even say he's been playing the role of, like, whatever he needs to be at that moment in time. If he's a Jamaican, he's a Jamaican today. If he's fucking Nigerian doing the fucking Afrobeats shit tomorrow, he's that tomorrow. He be putting on accents, picking. If he's a trapper from Atlanta the next day, he's a trapper from Atlanta the next day. Like, he's an actor, he's a fraud, he's a fake. Again, Meek Mill pulled his card, and y'all acted like y'all didn't care. And that just really opened the door for all these fucking frauds, all these people that don't write shit, all these people that are ghostwriters, all these people that are motherfucking just black enough, black adjacent. And I just feel like with this blackface shit, it's like, this is who Drake really is. This is who Drake really is. Y'all might as well keep on fucking standing for him now. Don't stop now. Like, keep on. Like, he showed you exactly who he is. Fucking believe him. But y'all not gonna give a fuck. I just think it's really gross, and it's just no coming back from it. And just like that commenter said, like, it's crass and tasteless to try to fucking caricature and commercialize and commodify and make money off of fucking Jim Crow era fucking racism, call it Jim Crow Couture, and dress up Aubrey Graham in blackface just to be shocking and explicit. When that's not even your fucking culture. You're not even American. You don't even know what that shit is really about, really. Like, I know you didn't learn about that shit in school or anything like that. Like, we barely learned about that shit here. So, and that has been Drake's, like, MO for so long. I'm just gonna do whatever for some money. I really don't give a fuck. And everybody gonna let it slide because people have decided they like me, a huge part of which is because I'm not from the streets. I'm not scary. I'm very palatable. I can go in and out of I can enter in and out of different spaces because I'm light-skinned, or because I'm biracial, or because I have a black father, but because I'm also Jewish, and because I'm just black enough, but I'm also just, white enough that I don't make white people uncomfortable. I'm not really, radical or militant or anything like that. Like, that is exactly who Drake is as an artist. And it's gross, it's disgusting. I wish he would fucking go away, but y'all keep standing this man. I don't know why. Well, like I said, y'all are hip-hop casuals. You're not real fans of rap or hip-hop. Otherwise, you never would have let him get away with being exposed as a ghostwriter, being exposed for having ghostwriters by Meek Mill 3 years ago. So, like, number one, it's a bunch of hip-hop casuals. It's a bunch of non-black people sticking their nose in our business because they feel comfortable doing that, because Drake made them feel comfortable. He opened the door for that trash. It's a bunch of women that just started listening to hip-hop 2 years ago that think they have a motherfucking say. Bitch, you don't. I don't care. It's just a bunch of, like, people that don't give a fuck about nothing. And so now y'all have to reap what y'all sow with this man. The blackface shit is the most interesting thing about this to me. I really don't care about the rest of it, because like I already said, anybody going up in a beef, quote unquote, against Drake don't write shit. So the other person, if they wrote it, they automatically won, in my opinion. Put Drake against Cardi B, then it's ghostwriters against ghostwriters. But until then, I don't care about no beef. Just the blackface shit is fucking interesting as fuck, because I just think it's really indicative of Drake's character, and also plays into this larger conversation of, like, what is appropriate, and what is appropriate in terms of culture, and black American culture specifically, because everybody thinks they can have a piece of our culture and weigh in on it. And I'm just, like, really getting to the point where I'm just not with that. Like, it's really even getting to the point of, like, I really don't even care if you're black. Like, if you're not American, like, I'm giving you the side eye. Like, I just don't know how I feel about you, because you don't know me, like, you don't know what I've been through in this country, and you probably don't even give a fuck, and you probably dress up in some blackface because you don't give a fuck, and you would sell me out. I don't know. What is culture? What is culture? Who does it belong to? We keep talking about how people feel like black American culture belongs to everybody, but does it? Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this whole situation. That's really all I care about, though, is the blackface thing. I literally do not care about anything else related to this beef. So don't ask me how I feel about anything else. All right. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.